With me is a world-class expert on this country, Mr. James Castle. This is a very unusual American, ladies and gentlemen. This is a man who has actually had something like 35 plus years of in-country experience in Indonesia. He's fluent in Indonesian or Bahasa. He has been a consultant to many American multinationals. Has very strong roots from Hawaii here as a graduate of the East-West Center.
That's right, University of Hawaii, master's degree.
The topic is the new Indonesia business wave and how Hawaii and Hawaii business can take advantage of it or ride that wave.
Yep. Well, it's really part of the Asian wave, and Indonesia is now taking its place in it. If you do follow Indonesia at all, you know that it had an authoritarian government till 1998. The government collapsed in the wake of the Asian crisis, and Indonesia's economy contracted 14% in 1 year. As a response to that, they threw out the autocratic regime, installed a democratic government. They've had 3 successful national elections, and they tightened their fiscal policies, and they began to recover in the year 2000, 2001. And this past year, they were the 3rd fastest growing G20 country after China and India. So they've really come a long way in a very short period and come back really from the abyss.
Where do you see Indonesia going if we look out 10 years down the road economically?
Well, I think these are early days. Goldman Sachs says Indonesia will become the 11th largest economy in the world in the next 20, 25 years, I believe. So they're really growing quite rapidly. Per capita income now is $2,500 a year. When I first arrived there in the 1970s, it was about $400 a year. So you're really talking a company moving into what the World Bank defines as the middle income country groups, and the increasing prosperity, improved opportunities. I think it's early days, and you generally find when a country gets this kind of momentum, it feeds on itself in a virtuous cycle. So political stability is the key. Indonesia has that. We've had 3 national elections that have been very peaceful, no election-related violence, and so on. So we're looking at, I think this is the beginning period of what I think will be another maybe several decades of very good growth in Indonesia.
Let's talk about the opportunities for Hawaii or small business in Indonesia. Where do you see the economic opportunities right now?
Well, it's a pretty broad range. I mean, Indonesia is a country of 230 million people, growing at 4 to 6% a year, with an education system designed for a much smaller economy. So in terms of managers, human resource skills, and products, they can use almost everything. So my answer to what can I do in Indonesia is usually, what are you good at? And it's a little bit intimidating for small and medium enterprises. The American investors there tend to be the big multinationals, the usual suspects, your Exxon Mobils, your Procter & Gamble, and so on and so forth. Unilever in the global, all the big Japanese companies, and so on. But they're small business people like myself. I have a company with 11 people, and we do quite well. So there is an opportunity, but the difficulty for the small business is Indonesia is a little bit complicated. You can get the keys to the code, but you have to spend time doing that. And usually, small companies are short of resources. You really need to spend some time in Indonesia and to look at the market and see what you want to do.